I've had a couple requests or some friends asking me about different tackle and things to get into on the jigging and popping scene. I am by no means claiming to be an expert, but I'm going to go through some of the stuff that I use, and you can at least use it as a starting point and go from there. So first thing I'm going to talk about are some different rods, how they're rated, and sizes, and why things are the way they are to a certain extent. The higher end Japanese products are typically rated by a gram rating. This right here in front of you is a 100-gram jigging rod. This rod is a 500-gram jigging rod. You can clearly see the difference in the blanks. So the higher the gram rating, the thicker the rod, the heavier the jig that you can fish with it, and theoretically the bigger the fish that you can catch with it. You see them listed on the side of it, maximum 500 grams, PE 5 to 10. PE, again, is a Japanese rating for the thickness of your braid line. PE 5 to 10 is about a 65 to maybe 120 or 130 pound line. This lighter Jigging Master here, that doesn't even have a rating on it because it's so light, you'd be about a PE 2 or 3. Here's a 150 gram jigging rod, max 150 gram, PE 1 to 3, test 12 kilograms, so about 25 pound line is the rating on this. You can see my line is cut through the foregrip quite a bit on this. I've put this rod through its paces quite a bit. The flex on these is going to be greater on the lighter rods with a lighter fish. 100 pound or 100 gram jigging rods, they're going to be light jigging, 5 to 10 to 15 pound fish, maybe 150 pound or 150 gram rods, probably good up to 20 to 25 pound fish, although in open water I've caught cobia up over 70 pounds with rods like that. You get into a function of line capacity and drag. The real key to these sorts of setups are fishing. Everything's sort of a pair. You can see I've got 150 in my left hand and a 250, or I'm sorry, 100 in my left hand and a 250 in my right hand. We've got a different size reel on them. We've got different thickness line capacity on them, and obviously different tapers on the rods for different weights of fish. This rod is rated up to about 45 or 50 pound line. I'm fishing 60 pound hollow Jerry Brown on there. I've got some PE 3 or about 35 pound line on this lighter rod here, which really I could go down a little bit on that as well. Most of the American manufacturers are going to have pound test ratings. This is a Shimano Teres rod that this is more of a casting rod, of course, but they'll have the same sort of rating system on their jigging rods. This is a braided line, 20 to 50 pound stuff. So this is a fairly light rod as far as things go. I've got this paired with a 6000 Saragossa. This is a good all-around reel, casting to, bonita, some blackfin tuna, cobia even. So here in South Carolina, we don't get too huge of fish, so I like to fish pretty light, so I'll usually fish a little bit lighter than most folks will. Obviously this 500 gram rod, I'm going to be hard pressed to put a bend in this thing here in South Carolina. I'll use it sometimes when I'm grouper fishing in deep water, but you can see I'm putting some pretty good leverage on that, and it's barely bending. This is the rod that comes with me jigging bluefin in North Carolina, and to be honest with you, it's a little bit stiff even for that, maybe for the amount of drag that I fish on it. This here on the end, this is a casting rod. This is a bluefin, big yellowfin, small bluefin rod. This is a black hole. Again, you've got the jig weight, you've got the PE rating and the gram rating of the lures that you should be fishing with these rods. You try to pair everything together. That's a 10K Stella, 60 pound Jerry Brown line, which is rated, actually breaks at about 90 pounds of pressure, wind on leader, and so that's the rating system there with most of the Japanese stuff, and it does correlate to the American stuff as well. We're just typically used to the pound ratings as opposed to the PE or gram rating. So those are the systems that they use.